When a civilization's political landscape is defined by war and instability, its culture is often expected to fade. But sometimes the opposite happens. Many look at the 11th and 12th centuries in India and see only the arrival of Turkic military powers and shifting borders. This focus on martial history can easily hide a much more complex story. While armies were clashing over territory, a different kind of activity was moving through village squares and observatories. New schools of thought and scientific advancements were taking root. These changes spread new regional philosophies and architectural styles across the subcontinent, creating a cultural footprint that reached far beyond the battlefield. It suggests that a culture's most lasting contributions are rarely the ones won by force, but instead they are the ones that outlive the kings who fought over them. In the town of Ujjain, the local observatory remained a center for mapping the stars. This was where the scholar Bhaskaracharya demonstrated that scientific progress could continue even in the middle of political fragmentation. He authored the Siddhanta Shiromani on astronomy and the Lilavati on arithmetic. He chose to frame these complex rules of math and physics as Sanskrit poetry, making them rhythmic and memorable. A riddle from the Lilavati asks for the number of bees in a swarm based on fractions landing on kadamba and jasmine flowers. By visualizing algebraic equations through nature and solving them through verse, abstract math became easier for students to memorize. While mathematics explored the physical world, a parallel shift was taking place in the study of the internal world through the Bhakti movement. Ramanujacharya introduced a philosophy called Vishishta Advaita. It modified the older idea of absolute oneness by suggesting that while the individual and the universe are connected, they maintain a distinct relationship. This intellectual shift moved further south into Karnataka, where a minister named Basavana began applying these ideas of connection and equality to the social structure itself. He wrote short, simple poems called vachanas in the local Kannada language. These verses were a direct critique of rigid caste barriers and expensive rituals, making spiritual life accessible to anyone, regardless of their social standing. By stripping away the need for an elite priestly class to interpret the divine, these reformers placed spiritual authority into the hands of the people. This period of intellectual and social change was eventually immortalized in stone by regional dynasties like the Chandelas. They built the Kandarya Mahadeva temple at Khajuraho. The structure's towering platforms and detailed carvings showcase a level of artistic and architectural skill that thrived during this era of regional rule. Through active trade across the Bay of Bengal, Indian religious and architectural concepts reached far into Southeast Asia. This exchange inspired the construction of Angkor Wat in Cambodia by King Suryavarman II, remaining the world's largest religious monument today. The temple's bas-reliefs depict scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata, showing how Indian epics were adopted and woven into the local culture of the Khmer Empire. The existence of these carvings in Cambodia demonstrates that peaceful trade and shared stories can leave a deeper, more permanent imprint on a region than any military border ever could. The empires that fought for control during the 11th and 12th centuries have long since dissolved. Most of the kings who led them are remembered primarily by historians, but the products of that era's renaissance are still with us. Bhaskaracharya's equations are taught in schools, and the egalitarian principles of Basavana's poetry continue to be recited in modern Karnataka. These concepts of logic and social equality have survived precisely because they moved out of the palace and into the everyday language of the people. The 12th century move to provide education in local languages and to question caste distinctions set a precedent for social accessibility that remains a central focus for modern reform. The 11th and 12th centuries show that while political structures are temporary, the work of the astronomer, the architect, and the poet possesses a durability that can span 1,000 years.